Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, can everybody see?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess the sky was here and still visible. Um, all right. So basically, I think everybody kind of had a chance to look up what is AssemblyScript. So, if you go to turn1 slash CW or CosmWasm AS. This is kind of the central repository we're going to be using to write CosmWasm contracts in AssemblyScript. So what is AssemblyScript? AssemblyScript is a subscript of TypeScript that yeah, that basically is rather than being interpreted like TypeScript gets converted into JavaScript. AssemblyScript is the language of TypeScript, but it is statically compiled. So it's just the syntax of TypeScript, but it's not actually running JavaScript underneath the hood. It's written in JavaScript, but it compiles down to WASM, right? So you can imagine that AssemblyScript um, it leverages the syntax familiarity of TypeScript by, using the same sort of compiler and stripping down the dynamic parts. And then it uses those static types to generate WASM code. So basically you can think of it as like C or C++, but with the TypeScript like syntax. Yeah, and the reason why it's called AssemblyScript is because it was designed with WebAssembly in mind. That's what AssemblyScript, or assembly in AssemblyScript stands for. Um, so as you can see on AssemblyScript's website, um, we have like a bunch of, well, first of all, there's things that you might expect that you can do in TypeScript that you can't do in AssemblyScript. For example, there's no any or undefined. There's also no union types, so you can't do like A is I32 or string. Rather you have to do uh this generic thing. Um, you can't make objects like random objects that are untyped. So you can't have just like a uh empty object, or you can't have like a where you can just inline an object in JSON. You can't do that in AssemblyScript, so that's unfortunate because that's one of the good parts about TypeScript or JavaScript that people like is the dynamicness. But um what are we getting here? We're getting the familiarity of the syntax. We can use classes, but we just have to follow a couple other restrictions. So we can use JavaScript, but not in the way that we're familiar with or that we might expect. Um, yeah, so as we are kind of progressing through this tutorial, you'll find that a lot of the expressions that we use are a bit more verbose, um, and a bit more uh, well, restrictive than what we can do. So, um, what else do we have? So we have like a couple of the standard library. So we have some familiar faces from JavaScript and TypeScript. Um, and for example, math, right? We have many variants. Um, we don't have the full like math library, but we have some of it. So the thing is, AssemblyScript is not very mature or developed. It just has a lot of hype around it because it's similar to JavaScript and you can write it, and it's the closest thing to JavaScript that compiles to WASM. Um, All right. What else does it have? So it also has these globals. So it has some static type checks which you don't get in TypeScript. So that's a bonus because sometimes you want to check the type of something, but you don't want to, you know, use instance of, or you don't want to do type of and then compare to a string. All right. So let's kind of talk about well, let's see, just the WebAssembly stuff, right? So WebAssembly, as you know, is a binary format, and there are some opcodes up that are in this binary format. So when you write in AssemblyScript, you have access to these in the global namespace. These are basically the, you know, WebAssembly has a lot of opcodes, and these are basically the opcodes they can use directly within your assembly script. So, like I said, it was it's similar to C in that you can also inject assembly, and this is the equivalent of having access to that assembly. Any questions so far? Okay. All right. So if you want to follow along, you can just clone this repository, but you know what? I think we can do this from scratch now. Why don't we try it from scratch? First of all, can everybody see
Yeah, I can see the IntelliJ.
IntelliJ? Okay, um, so we're gonna have to make a new CosmWasm AS tutorial.
Right.
CosmWasm AS tutorial, right? And then, all right. So I've created a new project. So first thing we should do is we should yarn init. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, cool. Now we have package.json. I think in the package.json. So I'm gonna be doing everything in here. Can you guys see okay? Is the font a bit
Yep.
small?
Yes, yes.
It's okay? Okay. Okay, package.json. Let's go edit it. So what do we need? Well, we need to add TypeScript. We should probably get I think AssemblyScript as well. Um, yes, AssemblyScript. So if we add those, okay, now we have AssemblyScript and TypeScript, and I'm probably gonna want to do TSC in it. Oh shit. NPX TSC in it. Okay, I have a new TS config right here. Right, and I need a special version of that. So this is why I need Ubuntu to make the Yeoman generator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, because there is a certain format that is necessary for this. So first of all, I need to so this TS so I'm going to create a folder called assembly, and I'm going to put tsconfig in there. Okay, tsconfig, and then yeah, basically in assembly tsconfig, this should extend the assembly script one. So this one is already in the it's in the repository. Okay, and then I also need um and yeah, also need something called the ASConfig. And ASConfig is the one that you can find in the contract tutorial. But here, let's see, fuck. ASConfig.json. This is the AssemblyScript config file. Okay, so let's go over this. So targets, we have debug and release. So these are two targets that we're going to be building. The out file is going to build debug, text file build what, right? Source map debug true. Okay. So yeah, it's important to kind of look at these because these will be our target the build files that we're gonna make. And you also notice here that there are some additional options. The bindings you don't need to care about because these are just automatically generated. These kind of specify what type of bindings because we're going to be generating WASM files, and normally, in most contexts, people want to use WASM inside of websites, and so this is just making ES modules such that when we can import them into a web page. The important thing you want to get here is JSON AS transform. So we're going to have to add that into our package JSON. So yarn add, I think it's JSON as. Okay, cool. And we also need to add visitor ES, which is okay, which is required by our contract. I mean JSON AS. Okay, so now we have like TS config set up, AS config also set up. Let's kind of write a small index file just to test that indeed our TypeScript or AssemblyScript is running. So we can start by doing visit export function add. So A is going to be an I32, B is going to be an I32, and oh, yep, we have to return an I32, and we just return A plus B, right? So this reads like TypeScript. You know what it does? It takes something called an I32, which you might not see in TypeScript, but it exists in AssemblyScript because I32 is a fundamental data type available in AssemblyScript. I mean WebAssembly. So let's kind of try to build this. So we have to add some scripts. So scripts, let's do build. And I'm just gonna copy, well, okay, let's see, assembly.index.ts, right? Actually, I don't know how accurate this is. Let's just use yarn. Well, let me just take it from the repo. Okay. Okay, it's a bit long, but the repo should have it. Let's just copy it all in. Okay, test just if we did, hold on, let's add yarn add so CosmWasm AS slash rewrite wasm to be a dev tool. Okay. Yeah, why don't we move this here? Okay. If you did yarn build, okay. Oh yeah, we also need to add the CosmWasm AS std. Oh shit. Okay, it says libboard. Okay. Assembly ts. All right, let's not add that for now. Module not found. Minimist. You have to um okay, cool. So what happened? We ran AssemblyScript and we basically generated this build directory, which should have all our things. And if you go to debug.wat, we can kind of see what's geez, okay. We should kind of see what's uh okay. Oh my, okay. Okay. We should kind of see what this WASM file contains, right? So we have definition of a type, which is none to none. We have a definition of I32 and I32 to an I32, which is the type of our function, right? And yeah, there's other stuff that's included by there are other stuff that's included by AssemblyScript. But the one thing we should focus on is the exported add function, which takes the function located at assembly index add and exports it as add. Okay, so now that we've confirmed that this works, would somebody suggest another function to add to this example to kind of continue confirming?
Maybe give a square of number.
Okay,
Just yeah.
sure. So how would this work? Function what? Square?
Yeah, square
Mm-hmm.
having I32
Mm-hmm.
as
Yeah, just right. Return
returning.
a times 8.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we just run this again? Yarn build. Okay. So now we have square and add. Those are the exports, right? So if I'm importing this WASM module, I can kind of access these exports. All right.
Quick question. Can you go back to that WAT file?
Yeah,
So on line 28, there's something called custom section.
this is a comment.
I know, but in WebAssembly, there's something called custom section, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, what are sections? Sections in WebAssembly. Basically, they're defined places. So a WebAssembly module is divided into sections, right? And there are certain named sections like functions, exports, memory, right? Those, if you go into these sections, um, like it's like a standard file format. It defines certain types to be available. I mean, it defines certain entries to be available, right? So you would expect certain things like exports, right? This is in the export section. This is in the function section, right? So when it says custom section, it just means like there is some extraneous data appended to the module under the name space of source mapping URL.
Okay, so one thing more, like, does it segregates everything, like exports one side, function definition, other sides, like step by step? Is it like that?
Um, it I think it does this in memory as well, but I'm not sure if it's required to do so logically. Logically, it is separated, but I'm not sure if it's has to like
Okay.
be, I don't think it's very strict. Like,
Mhm.
like normal assembly sections.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Now we have a WASM file, and we could actually probably we could put this in JavaScript and we can run it, right, with the test. But we're not interested in calling these functions. We're interested in creating contracts, right? So let's kind of figure out how to make your CosmWasm contract. So there's some standard boilerplate that the contracts should observe. Most notably, it is important to note that assembly/index.ts is the entry point. It's the lib.rs of our contract, right? So we have to, so it's a special file because it's the entry point. The exports and the imports that we do from this file tell AssemblyScript compiler to build the module like this with these imports and with these exports. So if you look back into CosmWasm, see CosmWasm, the GitHub repository. Let me just load that up. So look at the API entry points. So there are some exports, and these are the required exports, right? And here's the imports that are available, right? So we don't need to care too much about the imports because they'll just be provided to us and we can import them on demand. But we have to do these required exports, right? So this is written in Rust. We'll have to translate them into AssemblyScript. So the first thing is, how do we get, okay, so why don't we just copy this into our IntelliJ and into a comment section. So the first one is we have to signal for 1.0 compatibility, right? So we have to, instead of extern C, we do export, export function, right? Interface 8, right? Okay, next we have to do the copy memory to and from host. So here, we don't need to, we can use the allocate and deallocate provided by CosmWasm AS from CosmWasm AS std, right? Next one is we need to do an instantiate, right? So we don't need to do execute, we don't need to do query, but we need to have instantiate. So right now, let's just put in a dummy function for instantiate. So let's take an instantiate. It takes these three and it expects it expects something with a U32 sort of why are these U32s, by the way? These are pointers, right? Because end pointer. So these numbers are actually pointers to a region which describe some part of WASM memory. So let's kind of figure out this later. Let's build our function and let's run it in a CWSimulate to kind of test it. So let's just return 0 for now. Okay, so let's rebuild. Oh, shit. Do you guys know how should I make it such that maybe the CosmWasm AS doesn't have these in, in their
Depending.
the dependencies maybe. Yeah, why don't I just yarn add AS big num AS container and AS base 64. Okay. Now we have WASM files. They if you look at the WAT file, there's a lot much more going on, right? And let's try to run this in CW Simulate. So if you bring this up and we upload this binary, build debug.wasm. So that's kind of instantiated. So we should probably get an error given, right? So we have an unexpected end of JSON input. Okay, so why is that? Does anybody know?
Yeah, I forgot. I think we ran to that issue last time.
What are we returning here? If we return
Like,
0, it's a
Oh, it
pointer
should be
to
allocate,
a
right?
null,
Yeah.
it's a null,
Yeah.
it's a null pointer, right?
null point.
So
U32, yeah.
right. So basically, what it's asking me to do is I should make a region with something, right?
And then point to that.
Yeah.
And return. Okay.
Yeah. So then why don't we kind of see like import region from CosmWasm std, right? So why don't we return like a region that allocate in write string. Okay, so all right. Oh yeah, we have to dot pointer. So let's kind of mock up some JSON here and pretend like we actually did respond with something, right? So it expects what type of data?
Instantiate should be we mean type of data, like JSON object.
Yeah, like what is the interface that it expects? What is the JSON object that it expects? After you instantiate, what do you get back?
ID, right? Wait, hold on, not ID. We get back an instant.
No, you don't get back an instance. Not from the contract level. When you call instantiate, right? What do you get back? You get a region to something, but that region is a serialized, serialized JSON version of something, right? So what do you get back?
You get something of app response type.
Yeah, it is. It's called. It is response, the contract response. Okay, what's inside a response?
It's events and data.
Well, there is something like that's the app response, but what's the contract response? It has messages, right? It has what? Attributes, right?
So,
What else?
okay. So when you call instantiate contract, right? That's what we call here, right? Instantiate
Yes.
contract.
Yes. Well, this is instantiate, and then instantiate contract calls instantiate.
Okay. Let me
Data,
maybe.
Yeah, data's another thing. We can put no, right? What else? There's one more. It's called events, right?
Attribute.
right? Events, right?
Yeah, events and
Right.
data.
Yeah, okay, cool. So if I rebuild this, and then I run it back in CWSimulate. So I'm just going to attributes. Okay, cannot read properties of undefined.
Is it allowing
attribute.
to?
Is it did I make a mistake? Attributes data events. Oh, it says it's undefined. Hold on. Let's check this out.
Is it allowing to instantiate with empty funds?
Hmm?
Like the empty fund, does it instantiate?
I think so,
If you
yes.
allow it.
I think so.
Okay.
I think I'm not entirely sure, but we do attempt to recover the contract address from the attributes, but
No,
It is
no,
not.
that gets inserted by the
yeah, I
CW
was
simulate.
about to say that wouldn't make much sense that we would have to inject the address ourselves as the contract developer.
All right, so I think somehow it's still return. Okay, so we call instantiate, right? So the cool thing about Chrome, or let's try Chrome Canary, because they have some WASM debugging. So if you go to CWSimulate, I can basically upload from shit. Build debug instantiate. Okay, so here we can kind of, I think it's here. Something abort. Okay, we can find instantiate, right? Why don't we?
Oh.
All right, go here first. Okay.
So you can debug WASM.
Yes.
Said. Okay.
Well, let's check this first. So I'm gonna full screen this. Instantiate. Okay. Let's see. So we have this thing, right? These are I32s. I call something. I call it. I think I'm calling region allocate whatever, right? And then I call that. So this one should give me it back, and then I have. Yeah. Let's go next. Okay. Result is this. Okay. Okay, what don't, so the cool thing is you can also pause on caught exceptions. So can I read properties of undefined? A is undefined app events. So custom event attributes. So yeah, so okay, is it messages? Is it messages or MSGS? Do
No,
you
it is
remember?
messages. It is messages.
Okay. Okay, okay. All right. Okay. So let's try this again. The sources. Okay.
Reading attributes.
Okay. You look at the scope. Yeah, why don't we copy this? It's a global variable. So now we have temp1 dot exports. No. Oh, this is not the WASM module. This is the WASM module, sorry. But this is not the WASM module, if you know what I mean. This is not the WebAssembly. This is the WASM module in the other part of the code, the CW simulate code. So it's called that. I think this one is the one that we need here. Why don't we copy this? Right now we have temp2 dot exports dot wait, temp2. Oh, this is an immutable thing. Okay. Okay, let's kind of see. Okay, immutable closure global. Okay, let's just see where is the I see here. I think it's here, right? This one right here. Probably this one. Is alloc and alloc unsafe. Wait. Yeah. Nope. I think it's one of these. All right, let's try this again. So if we we call this right. Okay. So ready, go. Can I call a watch expression? So allocate is here, right? Oh, that's cool. I can also do shit, how do I read a region? Okay, basically allocate gives me a region and I need a way to get that region back. I think it's just I can just call local dot get or yeah, because I can't peer into it, but I can see where it is on the stack. So anyway, basically,
William, can you try it once with funds? The empty bar we have, like, yeah.
I mean, it should, right? Nope.
Same.
No,
Okay.
it's basically you're getting I'm getting undefined back, and yeah. So let's see where allocate and write string.
Dot pointer.
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't I just try to
Console.
allocate?
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do 100 here. What if it's just because it's not low? Well, I just want to be sure. Here, let region pointer, right? And now I need to memory dot copy or memory dot copy region pointer. Wait, region pointer. So the first I need to get the region pointer. The first part of the region pointer is the actual pointer, right? So let's do the region pointer offset. Region pointer. Does this make sense? Does this make sense to everybody? So a region looks like what? A region is has an offset. It has a capacity and length, right? And this is stored as a struct. So if I take the first one, right? Just to be clear, I'm just using the region pointer offset part of the region pointer. The first one, right, is going to be the same address, but I'm just going to read that address. I need to get the offset, which is pointed by this pointer. So I need to kind of load U32 of this. So that offset is going to be whatever that region pointer initially is pointing at, this offset. So if I get capacity, it will be what? Like that, right? And if I get length, it's going to be +8 because it's stored as U32s. So I only care about the offset.
So is it so William, is it like reading 32 bits first and then next 32 bits as capacity and then
yes.
okay.
So I need to write it to the offset, and I want to write I need to write a message pointer. Oh fuck. Okay, so I need to somehow write this into memory, and the way you do it is a bit difficult. So first you need to convert into UTF-8, string.utf8 dot encode, right? I need to encode this, and I need to make it null terminated, right? So then this is going to be a string array, or let's just do the message buffer. Okay, so now this message buffer has this this encoded string. Now I can find the message buffer dot oh, it's still not enough because now I need to make a data view around it. So message buffer view. Here, you make a data buffer. Data view. Data view. Around this buffer. Is it the yeah. Shit. Looking debt collectors. Okay. Okay, now I have a message buffer view. And then now I can access this byte offset. This is the source, and then the byte length. Okay, but if this worked, I'm not sure why this works. I'll have to look into it. It's probably an AssemblyScript thing, but yeah. Okay, so now memory copy, region pointer offset. I'm copying the stuff from the message buffer view into the region pointer offset, right? So now the region pointer should have the correct region. So I can just return the region pointer, right? All right, let's try this again. Chrome Canary. Okay. So I'm going to upload new contract. Okay. Is not valid JSON. Okay, something's not valid, Jason. What? Okay, see. So, okay. Is this not valid, Jason?
Wait, you probably have some trailing comma. No?
Looks good to me, but it
No.
says something is not valid, Jason. So it might be the yeah. Hold on. Hold on, let's see how I do it here. Okay. So I have in exports. Okay, allocate I stringify the result, execute. All right, why don't we just show how you should do it following the contract example here. So we have a contract example. This is how easy I try to make it. So instantiate should just do this. And then should here. Okay. Instantiate should do this, right? And so I can import do instantiate, and then I need to define an instantiate message. So I need to export class instantiate message, instantiate message, and it's not going to have anything. Okay. And I need to create something called the instantiate function. So I should export function, instantiate function, and this instantiate function will have actually env be env, info be info, and message be my instantiate message. And I get a result response string for now. Okay. I can import this env info, and I can share result. I have to import results from ES container. I think this is it. Okay, and then I can do okay, return result response string dot okay. Oh, I know why. Shit.
Yeah, I was about to say,
yeah,
I
shit.
think you need to return okay and
Fuck
then the
yeah, you're right.
response.
Fuck that. Yeah, for sure. Okay, return region dot okay, this does work. Region allocate and man, fuck this shit. Okay. Okay. Well, hold on. This one, shit. Where's the? Okay. Okay. Dot pointer. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Okay. Messages. Yeah. Hate okays. Attributes.
This is really funny.
Attributes. What? Okay. Data.
Attributes and
No. Events.
yes.
Okay. All right. Let's go. All right. Mm-hmm. Oh my
Oh,
God.
wow, wow. Well,
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, obviously you can't do anything, but yeah, there we go. That's good. Yeah. All right. So we got this far, but now we also know that this is kind of tedious and we don't want to be generating JSON in string form ourselves all the time. So we've kind of created this sort of interface where you use well, you use this and then you return do instantiate and you parameterize it with a instantiate message so that it understands the type, and then we do result response okay of response dot new, and we can just keep it like that, but we have to also include response, right? Okay. What does it say?
I think like the type parameters belong behind the OK.
Oh yes, you're right. Yes. Okay. Oh, response string. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
The fuck? Okay, only variables, functions, and enums become WebAssembly module exports. I guess, okay. Oh yeah, we don't export those. We import those. Env info. Yeah, so notice how they said WebAssembly module exports because we're trying to export it from this file.
Mhm.
Okay. Now let's try this again. But you can see how, like, if we had CW fiddle, it would be just so much easier to just rebuild and reinstantiate. Okay, so we get the same thing, right? But the cool thing is we can do, you know, what dot message, the add message, we can do add message, right? And we can do Cosmos message dot wasm message that yeah, I've really went far in copying the rustiness and to make it analogous. Which is kind of annoying. Wasm message. Okay, why don't we, okay, so wasm message. Okay, wasm message. Good.
exporting it.
Oh fuck yeah, fuck. Yes, you're right. Cosmos message, wasm message, okay. 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 Yeah. Yeah. So we just call execute and we execute something, but it will fail and it should fail. Execute. Yes. What does execute have in the body? Okay, it was an execute message. Okay, so contract address message. Whatever, funds, none. Yeah, it's surprising to me how much you can make it look like Rust. Hello. Message. It's a binary, but how the fuck do I? Okay, so I need to two binary of hello. Okay, import it. Two binary and yes. Oh shit. This one has it's a result type. Oh,
Mhm.
it has to be a binary, so it has to be dot unwrap. Okay. Okay. Let's try this. This. 5 debugs. Okay. It should instantiate and give me an error. No VM for contract hello. I think this is an error, by the way. I think we wait. I think okay. So there's a difference. I think right now there's a big difference between when does it fail at the instantiation stage and when does it fail, like right here. Like it creates a new instance. I guess I need some place where I can kind of see the errors of all the logs. Is there a way we can add that? Can somebody add that to the to-do list?
And they should be in the history page, right?
Oh, yeah. Boone mentioned it. There should be a
History?
history page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very similar to the Terra station. Like you can see all the logs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah, basically it basically worked, right? Shit. Did it not log? Yeah, let's try this again. No VM for contract hello. Doesn't say anything. It just throws the exception. Who wrote this message? Is this you, Skye?
Mm, just wait.
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay, because I don't remember writing it. Okay. Yeah.
It's when I
Okay.
introduced or tried to de-async
Yeah.
I see.
the
Yeah.
instantiation stuff.
Oh, okay, cool. But basically, I guess we can. Wait. We don't. We have other contracts, right? We have other contracts. We can. Well, we can't call anything because they don't have instantiation. Well, whoa.
What happened?
It says no trace found to the steps, likely an error. So there was a contract, but there's no trace.
Kind
No,
of looks
actually,
like things broke.
yeah, it refreshed. It got refreshed, I guess, because once it refreshes, it wipes
Okay.
out everything. Yeah.
By the way, this needs labels. You know, when you instantiate something in normal, you have to have a label usually. I mean,
Yeah. We have already, yeah, we do have that ticket as a label for when you instantiate, you should have a label.
okay. Yes. Okay. Cool. All right. That is kind of like how you create the contract, right? And you would imagine for the rest, right? Like function. So actually, let me go into. So this was a struct, right? But what if I need to create an enum? So unfortunately, as you probably know, Skye, this is the current solution that we're working with. But let's say that you have like increment and you have so increment and you have reset, right? So you can't define them in line like this because every object needs to have a type. So we have to do structs. So we have to do reset body, even if it's null, because we can't have a empty. And we have to have increment body. Remember, we can't have unions. So we can't do execute message equals increment or reset. So we have to do this thing, right? And then we also have to check that you can't have more than one key. Just annoying. And if you do export class increment body, yeah, this is gonna have nothing, right? And then JSON export class reset body, this is also gonna have nothing, right? So the let's just come on, Copilot. Cool. Dot error response string. Okay. Reset apparently has count, right? So I32. Okay, I think the rest kind of makes sense. But basically you have to do these like null checks instead of a match, which is kind of unfortunate. And also after you've made sure it's not null, you have to use the null non-null assertion operator. So it is get quite tedious, but then it just gets it just gets very like mechanical after this, like try increment. So it is pretty much Rust but worse right now. Except it can compile in the browser and it has smaller builds, right? Okay, increment, right? Okay, let's just very quickly add the state, right? Okay, so import item from CosmWasm AS std. So if we I have to export function state item state new item state, right? And then I need to make I need to make a struct export class state count I32 owner is going to be a string I32, right? And then so now I have this state thing, so I can go and try increment. Well, first I need to go to instantiate, right? And yeah, let's just do response dot new. Okay, so yeah, basically I make a state. So state dot save. Yeah, state dot save owner is info dot sender, and then count is 0. Okay, that's it. Okay, increment. Anybody want to take a stab? So first I need to get the current state, right?
Count.
So yeah, so I need to get count equals to state dot load, but load is a result. So I need and then
yes,
or I can just do state dot save owner. Yeah. So I have to repeat everything. I can't do a spread operator, I don't believe. Can I? Let's see. Can I load load dot unwrap? Actually, I'm not sure if I can use a spread operator because here state. I think it shows it can here, but then it's gonna complain. But we can try this. Okay, let's try building. Yeah. Can't because I have to do owner state that owner. So there's a lot of things we can fix here. Cannot find name JSON. I need to also import JSON from as JSON as. Okay. Oh geez. At least the builds are faster. Oh, here. Let's go. Look. Is it here? The fuck? I have no mistake though. But let's see, let's try reset increment. Something went wrong. Dun dun. Wait, what does it show me? Isn't it supposed to show me? Hidden?
Should so.
Oh, I something search. Oh, apply. What is we have 4 filters? We have 5.
CWScript bridge.
Is
Right?
it bridge?
That,
Is it-
Yeah, right.
yeah, that is debugging stuff that I introduced in order to make sure that we don't have a slow memory leak or something.
I see. Okay, something about reading apply. I mean, yeah. Wait. I think I know. In the execute function, it takes an execute message, but I did not bind it to the execute, right? Yeah, I need to add an execute function. Cute. There we go. And we need import do instantiate. So as you can see, we need CWScript because this is not nice to write. Is in fact much worse than Rust. The only benefit is we can do this in the browser. Yeah, you don't get the normal like type checking that even TypeScript offers. All right, let's go. Okay, instantiated, right? Did I? Here, can I reset? Do I need to make a new account?
Yeah.
Okay. Contracts. Okay. Not yeah, not sure why. All right, it's probably like looping over. I hope this. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And we can increment, I think. Yes. Yes, we can increment and go back and forth in time. Yes. Okay, so that's kind of how you build a AssemblyScript contract.
Which is pretty much
This
Rust.
is Rust. It's like Rust, but worse. It's like, yeah. But you can see there's a lot we can improve. I think Skye has been making a good doc on the annoyances. First impressions, anybody?
Yeah, writing contract using AssemblyScript.
Yeah, it's basically Rust, but
Yeah, exactly. Like other than having like a build process is much smoother and
yeah, I think C++ would be better. Yeah, at least I can do some weird shit with C++, right? Yeah, I can.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
the
Go ahead.
worst part about AssemblyScript is that it's a sub set of TypeScript, and it's just, oh god,
Yeah,
what can I use and what can I not
Not
yeah,
use.
use?
yeah. But I mean, they lay it out pretty clearly. You just don't realize it until the AssemblyScript compiler balks at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you get a hang of it. AssemblyScript wise, I don't know if I wouldn't recommend this to my worst enemy. But it's cool proof of concept, right? It's a cool proof of concept on how much you can make a language look like Rust. Huh.
I think C++ is better in terms of like just like aesthetic wise, like just a view.
Yes, I think C++ is better, and I'm going to work on that as an alternative. Who wants to generate C++ instead of the thing is you can't really run C++ what the well actually maybe because I'm using Emscripten to compile it.
Yeah.
So I think somebody built Emscripten for the web. So somebody compiles Emscripten with Emscripten. So yes, I think it's maybe possible. Yeah, we'll definitely try it. But first impressions wise, it's basically not really great. It is a little bit uh yeah, it has some advantages, and we can actually generate assembly script code that we can write CWScript code that improves this experience a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll have some ideas by the end of this week. But I'd also like to get CW Fiddle out sometime soon, probably this week if possible. I think it's very important. Um,
Mhm.
um, such that we can like write the contract on one side yeah, it should basically be a replet for
Writing small code.
yeah. I think the cool thing is we can potentially even make this a REPL. Like a contract but REPL. That'd be
Then
pretty cool.
like you run it on other side, like just like a REPL.
Yes, but yeah, but I think it's gonna be interesting once we have the CWScript AST that generates like AssemblyScript. Because then we have an abstract model of how to write a contract, and I think it's very powerful. Yeah.
So in CW Fiddle, you write contract in CWScript, right?
No. Well, I think it should have multiple backends. Like if you want to do AssemblyScript
Uh-huh.
or CWScript, which is gonna be yeah. But it's gonna be cool when um. So I don't think we're gonna go with the transformer model because I think there's just too much work to do in AssemblyScript. I think we're gonna do the parsing of the language. I think we're gonna do parsing, and we're gonna fall back on AssemblyScript. So while we're all here, why don't we just spend like 5 or 10 minutes thinking of a like contract syntax.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's reduce all of this into a couple lines of code. So basically a lot of things should be generated, right? So number one, we should have a logical grouping called a contract, right? So contract counter or CWAS tutorial, right? And then, okay. And then we should have, so there should be like methods already.
Yeah, exactly.
Instantiate, and then
Exit.
the execute, it should be a keyword. So execute increment, right? And then execute, or this should be sorted to execute increment, execute reset, right? Okay, and this one, I think it should return a result for now. Let's just make it return a result response. And because this is a contract result, how about results response? And result response. Yeah, and then we should also have some queries like query count, results. So here we have query response, right? But we can probably make that shorter. Okay. Okay, instantiate. If we had to do it, we'd first we have something called state, and so we do state.save, right? Save. So instantiate state, the save owner should be info.sender. Count should be 0. Okay, this kind of looks weird, so just let's use here text file. Let's go. No, I'll call this Rust. I'll call this Rust. I'll call this Rust. So then here. So all right. Where are some question number 1. There is basically a context injected into every instantiated increment, instantiated execute, reset, and count execution context. Do we want to make it like explicit, like we want to do env info mess, something like that? Or should these just be part of the...
I would make them kind of like this, just implicitly defined.
Yes.
So should info just be like a thing, like info?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So info, okay, and then
Because when I do write, Rust smart contracts, it always becomes a bit tedious to, carry along
yes.
dependencies and info and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just 3 arguments that are added onto every single execution or something.
All right. Do we like this syntax for state? I think each kind of contract should have like, like in Ruby we do like, like state. We need a way to define the shape of it. Definitely. We need a way to define the shape of it. So what is this?
From where does this info environment comes? Like
No, this just get generated. Oh my god. It knows CWScript.
It got generated.
Okay, this just gets it's just in the context of instantiate. Whenever you're in instantiate, you kind of yeah.
Okay.
So the thing is, we need to make this look as TypeScripty as possible.
I don't know if we necessarily need state.save.
Okay, so should we just do state that equals? And we should, state is just gonna be a thing here, because basically we had a thing called state, right? So this is what I did for the original. This is what I did not like actually, because state was actually a state. this yeah, this is what it would have looked at. What would have been better would have just put that into like a count, but this is not actually a good representation. Count. What else? What was it? Oh, fuck. Huh?
Info.
Owner.
Oh yeah, why don't we just do that?
And then I would say we just distinguish between
Yeah, how though?
just properties like this and
Like
properties that are
property like that?
apps or something.
You want to do that? Does that look good?
I don't know if we need the property in front of it like this.
What if we do like then, because I do want to have some decorators. For instance, I want like the key to be, if by default the key should be like whatever it's named, right? But what if I want the key to be William? Yeah.
So
Or like a custom prefix, but I don't know why I want that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, so these basically are basically like the attributes or macros that we can the basically extra information that we can tag onto onto the thing.
variable, like state variable.
Yeah, but we can talk about that later. So let's decide on this now. If I do count and owner string, right?
Does it make sense to have properties that are not persisted?
I don't think so. Like public. What if I just made them pub?
It's Rust.
I mean, yeah. If we make what if okay, if it's pub, then it's state. Then it's state, and it also comes with a automatic query.
So why don't we like prefix it with state? Well, like state count, state owner.
Yeah, I mean, we could, but it would get tedious. I mean, state, and then and then we can make a state block, right? Yeah, we could do that. Okay, you're just confirming a lot of the design decisions I made in the previous version of CWScript. Okay, so we have a state block, right? And okay, let's talk about let's assume that everything's kind of result response, right? So this we don't need.
I don't know if that assumption is fair.
Well, everything.
When it comes to instantiate and increment, reset, and instantiate, execute, and query, yeah, and reply probably. But other methods?
No, I mean, for these special methods.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so instantiate
will take the state variables.
Okay, and then also the message, right? Because so the initial count, right? For example, if I have the initial count is going to be a U32, then this count is
count.
Right, this count is count.
Yeah.
Actually, that's right. Oh, actually,
why do we have the U32 still there?
This dot state.
This dot state. Or state. I think state should be like a variable, like a global sort of
magic.
Yeah, magic. There we go.
But why do we have count colon U32?
It should be count. Line 11
equals
oh shit.
count.
But yeah, you're right. Okay, right? Count. Okay, increment. So assuming this,
State
okay,
dot count.
state dot count plus equals 1. Okay,
I think it's a lot more readable.
okay, so
And yeah.
if what if infos, oh cool. Okay. Okay, cool. No CWScript. Okay, if info sender not equal to that. Okay, state.count equals state, actually I think it also takes it into account. And this one should be is an option. So we can make it like that. Count
R0.
it knows. Okay. Or should we just make it or?
Yeah.
Oh god, we're getting Python in here.
You don't like Python?
Yes.
Let's go Python then. Let's go
And
Python.
state.count should be equals count, not 0, right? No, below and reset.
Reset.
Oh yeah, yes, it equals count. Yep, and then query count. Okay, so we need a way to kind of make these query responses more nice. So like we don't want to define a struct here, like basically struct count response, right? We don't want to define these. So what I had previously is I could I basically I made like an inline sort of struct count response, and then yeah, so basically it would inline this type. Oh my god, I finally I see how, like, if we target AssemblyScript, this is gonna be so easy. Because even though AssemblyScript is a pain in the ass to write, it's gonna be easy to generate, and we can make really cool like contract like constructs. So I want you guys to go wild with, like, static analysis. Okay, count response, basically count that, right? So why don't we just return count state.count like that?
Yeah.
I mean, technically for the state properties, we could just generate these simple queries
Yes,
automatically.
we could.
So you won't even need
So should we just do
query
like,
count and query owner.
should we do auto gen or gen count? Okay, so what if we do pub?
I would probably just simply use the query keyword, and instead of pub, just say query
Yeah.
owner, query count.
Count, yes.
Like here?
Yeah.
Oh, like a
Prefixing it with query will auto generate.
query owner. So if we prefixed it with
Query keyword.
Mhm.
So it will auto
Or should we
generate.
just like
anything.
Okay, I think query, that makes a good sense. If we make it okay, so if we do query in query, then do I need state still? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you need state in your query.
Okay, if you do state query like this, state.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, what if we made this a modifier like query at the end? So we have like, the owner string query like that.
Mm.
It's
I
look
think
complicated.
prefix yeah.
Prefix what?
Prefix looks much simpler, like easy to read, like query count.
Okay.
Uh,
Why don't we just do, okay, if we have a query, why don't we do like query count like that, and query owner. No?
I mean, what I like about just prefixing the state up there with with query
Mhm.
is that it's kind of
I think that
similar
was a good
to
idea.
pub mod. You know,
I think,
like
I mean,
you can have just mods and you can have
Mhm.
pub mods.
but
and
can
kind of-
this be a function? Like, what if if you know, might as well make this a function, you know?
Hmm.
What if you want to create the entire state?
Then you would make your own, then you'd make query state.
Yeah, I was about to say query state.
I like this a lot. I like this idea a lot. But I also like the idea that where they are also the state, it is abstracted in a way that okay, so okay, so basically query, if we put this, I think it's just kind of conflicting in my mind if it's a state and it's a query. So okay, so let's go back to this thing, because eventually somebody's gonna want to ask like, okay, can I make this a function? Or make it. So basically it's a special like is it like sugar?
Keyword.
Pretty much.
It's sugar, right?
Yeah, it's just sugar that, you know, tells it to generate a query that
It
just
is
does a really simple thing.
auto-generated, yeah.
Does it make more sense to make it just pub then?
Like,
No, I mean, wait, think about it. Think about it,
pub.
guys. If you make it
Do
pub,
do we even have the keyword pub so far? Because I
we
mean,
don't. I mean, it could be contextual, like within state, it makes sense.
So pub means you create like function, like automatically function out of count.
Yeah, it would automatically generate like, you know, certain queries, whatever.
So
but
yeah.
mm,
like
I know
read.
it
Sorry.
becomes a bit more confusing then to me if I have to think about pub as a sort of flag that makes it automatically a query.
Exactly.
No, because if you think
Because
about
in
it,
the
it's
end, if I don't use pub, it kind of sounds like it's not pub, which is to say, you know, internal / private or whatever, but it isn't.
yeah, but then the thing is, it's just it isn't, yeah, true. But the thing is, I just don't want to mix the query keyword inside state.
Mm.
How about query? How about queue? Queues.
Are you happier with doing it kind of like with the ads, with the what is it called? Decoration.
Like
With
query?
ads query.
At count at
Uh, what
Well,
about
I meant ads query as in treated like a decorator. And the decorator basically
what if we just put like fuck. Okay, so okay, let's for now let's just do query. Okay, because I think it makes sense.
yeah.
I mean, if it makes you happier, we could also introduce a new keyword called queryable.
Yeah, we can do it.
But that's a bit long.
Maybe you gotta.
Why don't we put it? I think it makes more sense in the end, like query. Hold on. Oh, like get set,
Yeah, get a set of.
like
Yeah.
like get set.
Oh God.
.net, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. If we put it here, this is pretty cool too. Like, wait, think about it. Getters and setters.
But that kind of implies that you can call the setter from the outside.
Outside,
Oh
exactly.
yeah, true. How about property?
Huh?
Just like,
Get count, get
Uh,
owner.
yeah, like wait, yeah. So the getter and setter is just gonna be like local to CWScript. No,
But you can't set it, right? Like,
okay. How do we define defaults? Should be like that.
Yeah, I
The
think.
default is 0. Like, okay. No.
how about we prefix it with like get underscore count, get underscore owner. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Semicolons or no?
Yes. I mean,
Semicolons or that.
comma.
I mean,
Comma.
if we're aiming for TypeScript's likeness,
Mhm.
we should go with semicolons rather than just
Comma.
commas.
I think. Okay. All right. State. Okay. Semicolon. Oh fuck. Okay. Semicolon. Okay. Is this fun or are you guys bored?
No, that's fine.
Okay. State. Count. All right. Okay. How about maps? What do maps look like? Like balances. Oh. Oh.
um. Hmm.
No.
Hmm.
Okay, so we're going with query, right? Query,
count,
and
query owner.
query and balances, right? But then, okay, so the query, the response of the query should have to be a struct. So this should be count response, right? So we should define something called like query of.
Do we?
Yeah,
Maybe
because
we should
sometimes
just assume that everything state related can be just queried, by default. Because I mean, in the end, it's on the blockchain anyways. If you're a bit tech savvy, you can figure it out one way or another.
That's a very bad assumption to make. We're not. This is not designed for tech savvy people. They should just stick to Rust in AssemblyScript. Okay. I like where we are here so far. Okay, so let's talk about queries again, like custom queries, right? Like query whatever. Okay, so basically, do you guys like this?
I think it's easy to read, so pretty much likable.
Okay, cool.
Do we support maps as in nested maps?
Yes.
I don't even think.
Well,
that
there's
Rust
one way.
contracts support nested maps.
They support map, like you can make your blah 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 like this. So it's a
Yeah.
multi-index map, but it's not like map A B or map it's a map from A K to map K2 to
Okay.
right. We could if you want, but it's just not going to look nice because that map would have to be serialized.
Yeah.
It's just better to just do K2 like this. Okay.
Oh, so then we would kind of just
Yeah,
automatically
yeah.
join them together into a multi-index.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
Okay. Okay. I like where this is going because I can see how this translates into AssemblyScript. I'm not sure how this translates into Rust, but I can see how this translates to AssemblyScript. And we can write it very easily. Okay.
Query.
Okay, so we're gonna work on the parser this week. We're gonna work. We're going to basically rev up back a parser, so it could be Antler. Boone,
Yep.
you ready for Antler version 2? Skye, have you worked with Antler?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be fun. It's not that bad. It's just very annoying. But the
Oh.
great thing is we're gonna build tools that make language development like going from like idea to implementation in 3 seconds. So we're gonna build the tools that like help us build languages and
So
yeah.
we're gonna be building a lot of languages? Is that
Hell
what I'm
yes.
gathering?
I mean, isn't that what you joined this company for? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just searched out Antler.
All right.
It seems
Let's try to do this in Python now. Contract CWS tutorial. State. Shit, I don't even know how to do this anymore. There's no blocks in Python. State query count, I guess.
You're just having fun right now, aren't you?
yeah. So, it should be called def state.
But it's not a function.
I know it doesn't have to be. It's called CW-thon. No, wait, no, it has to be a snake that's
That sounded too much like CW thong to me.
what is a
just like
what is a tiny snake? What's a miniature snake? Oh, the only thing I know is like a python or a cobra, but
cool.
everything else is just adjective plus snake, like black snake, worm snake, blind snake, corn snake.
I know of one that
Serpent.
I think is pretty small, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Oh no, never mind.
Snakes
It's
are
pretty big actually.
disgusting. Holy shit. They're like eels, but in the Jesus, holy shit. So why are people scared of snakes?
They are like really disgusting, as you said.
Yeah, there's that, but you don't have to be scared of it.
I mean, they are called danger noodle for a reason.
All right. Let's talk about some important parts of the language. Semicolons, yes or no? Yes.
I mean, like,
Yeah,
Okay, it's
segment
actually
separators?
much easier for parsing, so yes. Uh, should we have these? Yes or no? Force parens.
yes, I guess.
Oh, it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be too much like TypeScript. Thing is,
Now it looks a
now
lot
it looks like
Golang.
no, it doesn't.
Good.
It looks a lot like Solidity.
I think parentheses having those gives certain sense of like it
Right, let's try this.
look.
Defin contract CWAS tutorial, and then we'll make it a Lisp State.
What is that?
Query count.
Oh God.
No? You don't like it?
Are we writing CW text?
It's a bracket, right?
No, it's just Lisp.
This
Lisp.
Oh.
Lisp. What is Lisp? New like
You didn't do Lisp in college?
no
It's
Actually
like,
didn't.
no
oh,
the
what the fuck?
speech
kinda-
impairment.